Should a laboratory go for ISO 9001 or should they go for accreditation? I've raised this in my presentation because I know on our continent there is a lot of confusion on whether a laboratory should go for ISO 9001 certification or for accreditation. Now, according to a joint communique which was issued by ISO, ILAC, and the IAF, and I quote from that communique, just part of the communique, a laboratory fulfillment of the requirements of ISO IEC 17025-2005 means that the lab meets both the technical competence requirements as well as the management system requirements that are necessary for it to consistently deliver technically valid test results and calibration. Now, technical competence of a laboratory depends on a number of factors, and I've listed some of the key factors there. You are looking at qualification, training, and experience of the staff. You are looking at the right equipment, which has to be appropriately calibrated and maintained. You are looking at adequate quality assurance and quality control procedures, appropriate sampling practices, sound testing inspection procedures, accurate recording and reporting of data, as well as appropriate testing environment. Those are some of the factors that determine the technical competence of a laboratory. Whilst ISO 9001 is an effective management tool, it does not provide assurance on accuracy and reliability of the calibration or test data. So for labs that are concerned with demonstrating technical competence, underpinned, of course, by a quality system, ISO IEC 17025 is the standard for calibration laboratories. You heard earlier on from Professor Kuhn that for any National Metrology Institute to participate in the CIPM MRA, one of the requirements is that the NMIs have to implement ISO IEC 17025. So there is no doubt that the right standard for calibration labs, NMIs, is ISO IEC 17025. What are the benefits of accreditation? Now, I'm looking at the benefits from the calibration laboratory point of view, from the users of accredited calibration laboratory services, and I'm also looking at it from the government point of view. Now, to a calibration laboratory, accreditation actually assures reliability, comparability, and traceability of measurements. It is a means of demonstrating competence to your clients, and of course, it improves confidence in calibration certificates, and it is a credible and effective marketing tool. To users of accredited calibration laboratory services, well, it's a guarantee for reliable, comparable, and traceable measurements. It increases reliability and accuracy of measurements. It limits product failure and downtime, particularly when you are in the manufacturing sector. It also helps to control manufacturing costs, and it does provide a competitive advantage and facilitates access to export markets, which are quite key for a lot of us in developing worlds in terms of national economic growth. To governments and regulators, well, accreditation provides reliable and impartial basis for sound decision-making. It increases competitiveness of products and services, and it facilitates trade. Going on to trends in accreditation, well, in the 20th century, accreditation was generally predominantly seen as a voluntary activity. But things are changing in the world around us, and in many economies now, accreditation has been embraced by governments as a mandatory activity in many regulated areas because of the benefits that accreditation brings to help governments meet their responsibilities as well as to safeguard the public. For example, in the Asia-Pacific region, accreditation is now used to underpin the conformity assessment component of the APEC agreement. APEC is the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation. In Europe, I think most of you now know that there is a new regulation which came into effect on the 1st of January 2010. Now, that regulation recognizes the benefits of accreditation by legislating that accreditation be used as a means to show compliance with mandatory requirements. In the Americas, regulators and governments, they are also increasingly relying on results from accredited conformity assessment bodies. Now, coming on to SATCAS. What is SATCAS? Now, SATCAS was actually established in terms of 2 articles within what we call the SADC Memorandum of Understanding on SQAM. I'm sure you all now know what SQAM is about. The most interesting aspect of SATCAS is that it was developed on a model that was actually conceived by experts from the region. And those experts, of course, worked extensively with international experts to develop that model. And I was privileged to be part of the experts that developed this unique model for accreditation. SATCAS is the Southern African Development Community Accreditation Service, and it was incorporated in December 2005 under the Botswana Companies Act as a non-profit limited company. Why do I say the model is unique? Well, for your information, the SADC region consists of 15 countries, and out of those 15 countries, only 2, South Africa and Mauritius, have got their own national accreditation bodies. SANAS, you may know, has been long in existence, over 25 years, and of course SANAS is signatory to both the IAF and the ILAC arrangements. Mauritius, on the other hand, only became operational in 2008 and had been in the making for over 10 years. And up to now, Mauritius is not yet signatory to the international arrangement. So, the rest of the countries, 13 in all, do not have accreditation bodies. Now, the question then was, should we leave each country in that region to establish their own accreditation body, or should we get together, set up one body that would meet the accreditation needs of all these countries? The decision was to establish what we now refer to as a multi-economy accreditation body, one accreditation body meeting the needs of a number of countries. You may recall in my introduction that I mentioned that typically each country has got its own accreditation body. Now, in this case, we looked at a number of factors. The first factor was the cost of establishing an accreditation body. Secondly, we looked at the cost of maintaining and even making that body operational.